she's still around 16, so the mare's novice. I wouldn't put off because...
And she's probably going to be improving probably 15, 20 pounds. Wouldn't be surprised.
I would dismiss in the New Lion then against...
No.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hello and welcome back to the Only Forces of Horses YouTube channel. And Happy New Year! First video of 2026. Of course, we're going to be reviewing the Christmas period racing with a view to the dreaded Cheltenham Festival. We have got our Cheltenham Festival series starting up in the next couple of weeks, so this will be a nice tie-in to start looking at the Cheltenham Festival with our reviewing glasses on and seeing what impressed us the most over the Christmas period. If you agree with our opinions or don't agree with our opinions, put them in the comments down below. And if you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe. Plenty of Cheltenham-based content and jumps-based content coming to you over the next few months. Gentlemen, it was a good Christmas period, I thought. A really, really good Christmas period. Not only just watching it on TV, but the attendances were massively up across the board. I think Leopardstown had a great time of things. Trials Day was a sellout. Kempton had decent crowds as well. So it was plenty to be positive about. Lee, first video of 2026. How would you like the Christmas period? Because you were at Kempton, I believe.
Yes, Happy New Year, lads, and Happy New Year to all the followers. We do appreciate all the support last year, and hopefully can continue on. Like you say, look, go and hit that like and subscribe and get the comments in. But yeah, look, I was at Kempton for Boxing Day and the day after there, 27th. Crowds were good. There's some good performances. Look, I'll be totally honest. I was down over the Christmas period, and I've started a little bit slow as well already. In the last few weeks, just looks hitting the dartboard, and over Christmas, we'll get into it, but I backed Gaelic Warrior and the King George, beating 2 noses, but it was an epic race. I was on the winning line for it. I was very happy to see that. And look, you mentioned the crowds there, Ash. Trials Day at Cheltenham, they were up 6,000. I think it was up to 44,000 and change, which was a sellout, as you mentioned, which was fantastic. And it looked like the festival on the pictures. It looked great, and the atmosphere was great. And that's what racing's all about. Hopefully, just keep bringing people back into racing, having a good time, and all of the festive period. All of the courses seem to be up, and look, spirits in good, and we're seeing great performances. So yeah, look, again, thanks for following, and we appreciate it, and hopefully we can get plenty of winners into this new year.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, Harry, Christmas racing, did you learn much from it? Because there was plenty of racing. Obviously, Boxing Day is one of the big days, and obviously 27th, 28th kicked on to New Year's as well. So have you learned much in a view to Cheltenham?
Yeah, I think just as a racing fan, I think that festive period was well up there. It was probably the most enjoyable festive period in terms of racing that I've ever seen. I think really just from the King George, I think that was probably the best King George we've seen in years. Well, it was in terms of a spectacle. In terms of the form going forward, well, then you compare it to the Savills. I know we're gonna get onto this, but I think 3 out of the first 4. Bar in Banbridge, I think, have all got live chances in the Gold Cup. You know, you've got the jukebox man going back to Cheltenham for the first time since obviously that horrific day where he got chinned on the running by was it Stella Story that did him? I think up the running, and then you've got Gaelic Warrior, whose record around Cheltenham, people go back and crab him for the Boodles, but he was so impressive in the Arkle, and he's got form around there. And then you've got Django Bay, last year's Arkle winner. It's just a fantastic, fantastic period. This is where we, you're looking forward to the DRF, and then we're going on to Cheltenham, and still plenty of water to go under the bridge yet. Don't get me wrong, but as a racing fan, it's the best time of year.
Definitely, I think it was a very good Christmas period. And like you said, it was one of the best King George we've had in quite some time. So it was definitely a great watch. Now, we're going to be sort of reviewing Christmas racing with a view for Cheltenham. And also, we'll just have a little bit of a look at anything that's interesting over the weekend, everything like that. We are starting up again. It's quite cold as we speak currently. No racing on our screens apart from the beautiful
cold?
weather.
It's fucking Baltic, mate. I'd better think what it's like up in Leeds way.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm freezing up here.
It's Yeah, so it's freezing. It's very cold there.
It's very, very cold. But we've got Wolverhampton and all the Kemptons and all that to look forward to. So if that doesn't bring you a nice warm sense, then I don't know what's going to make you a fan of racing. But we'll be reviewing the Christmas period. We're going to start with that Gold Cup scene because I think it's taken quite a lot of shape over the Christmas period. Obviously, Jukebox Man winning the King George with Fact to File disappointing, but he's got an entry for the Ryanair. And you got Gaelic Warrior in there as well. Django Bay threw his hat into the scene. And over in the Savills, Affordale Fury came and won the Savills Chase. Well backed, 7-1 winner. Galopin Des Champs was third in the end. So nice seasonal reappearance for him with a view to the Gold Cup. I'll go to Harry first of all. Harry, how do you see the Gold Cup picture now, knowing what we know with Galopin Des Champs being beaten at Christmas, Jukebox Man winning the King George? How's the Gold Cup picture looking for you?
I think there's probably one horse in there that I have scrapped off, and it is last year's winner. From a personal point of view, I think it, regardless of what anyone says about the horse has got 1 day March, I completely agree with that, and I could be made with egg on my face come March. But to run as badly as that, regardless of the way that I just think it was so bad to be true, too bad to be true, and he's done now. He's in the bad books. Galopin Des Champs, he's going to be a monstrous effort, and I think he is ground dependent. I think he needs soft ground. If it turned up anywhere near the ground that it was last year, I think you can scrap him off. And if they don't go hard, I think even then, I think if it turns into a sprint, you're going to see the likes of the Gaelic Warriors. You're going to see the likes of the Jukebox Man. They're all going to favour from that. Django Bay, I think he's got to brush up his jumping. I'm not saying he jumped badly, but I think it's it's a different test, obviously, from going around Kempton. But if you miss one in a Gold Cup, that could put you on the back foot right away. I think the Jukebox Man, he's just one that I've always loved, and he passed the jumping test. He jumped like an absolute stag. He could have taken it up in the King George if he wanted to. And I think going right back to Cheltenham, he's got course form round there. He's gonna jump. He's gonna jump for fun. I love the fact that he's gonna go there. He is gonna go there fresh, I think, isn't he? I can't really see too many negatives about it. He's an upcoming horse. We know that he's got the form for a beat. I love the way that he battled back as well. That was the big thing for me. He got headed, and you had Gaelic Warrior on the inside. He was probably the unlucky one in that. I think if Paul Townend would have pressed on early enough, I think he probably should have won. But the fact that the Jukebox Man probably missed it out the four at the last, battled back to went on and win. He's the one that he'd be currently my Gold Cup pick, and but I'm happy to be proven wrong because it's so wide open, and it's so good to see the fact that we've got 5, 6, 7 horses in there, and we've not even mentioned this. I've not even mentioned the Savills Chase winner in Affordale Fury. So it's wide open, and the Jukebox Man would be where I'm heading right now.
That's fair enough. I think it's worth mentioning the betting while we're on about the race. You talk about wide open, 6-1 the field. Galopin Des Champs is 6-1. I know the way you're thinking. A horse you're happy to sort of dismiss, Harry. He's 6-1 as well, and I sort of think that's a touch too short. I do agree. Django Bay 8-1, the same price as King George winner, Jukebox Man. Gaelic Warriors 10s, the same price. Well, a couple of points bigger is Grey Dawning at 12-1. Final Demand is in there at 14s. Haiti Colors the same price. Affordale Fury 16s. And the only one that I can really see on my list, the only couple on my list that are bigger price that were probably running in the race, Lecky Watson 50-1, Envoi Allen 66s. Lee, look, I think we've all been big fans of Galopin Des Champs for so long now. He has turned 10. He's obviously been beaten in the Savills, but that was his first start of the season. I think a lot of people knew he would need it. Can you see him emulating Corto Star and regaining his Gold Cup, or are you potentially now, the Christmas period's over, looking towards those younger pretenders that are coming through the ranks?
I can definitely see him doing it, Ash. If you looked at that Punchestown run after he's defeating the Gold Cup, I just don't think it was right in that Gold Cup, and his class seeing him through to get that second place. He then went to Punchestown, absolutely demolished them. Look, it was maybe a fair enough weak fielder in a short field in the end, but he's put them right in the ground. And I thought that was a cracking reappearance. I thought he was going to win. The crowd roared as they come to the last, and he jumped in the middle. He was in the middle of the track. I think it was Grinchclare West, maybe, is one of the Cheveley Park Stud horse. I remember watching again in come stand side, but jumped behind Galloping Shop, then come stand side behind Affordale Fury. They all come up the stand rail, and Gallopin was in the middle on his own. And yeah, I'd mark that performance up a notch. I just think reappearance and such, like, I think the money was down for him, and the new way he's at. And coincidentally, the money was not down for. I know the way you're thinking, and I think doubled in price in the end. How can he be 6-1? It says to me, look, people say, "Oh, they're cheating with horses," blah blah. If he's still 6-1, basically unchanged after being tailed off and such a disappointing run, well beat the last day, like, what's happening? Do you know, like Harry said, I thought they had pushed him out about 10s or so, and I looked again yesterday and 6s, and I thought, like, I don't know which way they're thinking, really. So yeah, interesting races. The King George there, I was beating 2 noses with Gaelic Warrior. I was sick as a pig. The same as Harry. I thought, if you had have pressed on a bit more, but look, kind of got pushed back in the pack and rallied again, and it was almost Western Warhorse. If you remember the arc of Champagne Fever, when where's the jukebox man had rallied again, like he was headed, and he's rallied again to beat them. I thought a great ride, Sean Bowen on Bambridge. I thought that was a cracking raid. Everyone was talking about the top 4 in the betting. Last year is when I was kind of half dismissed there, and he come rallying back as well. And I thought that was a peach of a raid, and just to get beat on Bambridge, I thought was unlucky for Sean, anyways. But look, where am I at with the Gold Cup picture? I would look against. I know the way you're thinking. He can come back and win it for me, but I wouldn't be putting any money on him. That's for sure.
If the Gold Cup was run tomorrow, Lee, who would be your one play in the race?
Harry, I don't know, and maybe it's
that's the beauty of it, isn't it? That is the beauty of it right now, is the fact that we don't know exactly.
And if you look at the Cheltenham markets currently, they're all wide open. Like, even if you look, we'll get on to the champion hurdle and stuff. Sergino is 7-4 area, maybe his best. But it's still wide open. Like, Will Osimhen go and X, Y, and Z, and just even the shorter price ones, but they're just all wide open. And that Gold Cup, I definitely look. I've already backed. It might be a notch bigger, but not more than 8 kind of thing, or whatever it was. Galloping Deschamps, he's going to be my saver bet. Regardless, I have to have a saver on him. I'm already on, but look, before that race, so it might be in 6s, but he's the saver bet because it's his one target, X, Y, and Z, and that's his prime race. He's won it twice before. That was a fair display. He's worth the saver at worst, whatever you fancy, but you'd probably have to look at these bigger prices just to say entries come out there. And Django Bay did get an entry in the Ryanair. There's a few, Factor Fail didn't get a Gold Cup entry. His is just Ryanair. Django Bay did get one in the Ryanair. So just, interesting scenarios there.
Very interesting. I just find it interesting. I was looking through the markets there in the background. Affordale Fury's dam sire, so obviously the sire of his dam is Schwassier, the Australian sprinter who produces sprinters left, right, and centre. It's mental, just how's that? How's that?
I could never have backed him. He was well backed the other day. I could not have had him on the radar. I can't deny. I know the Tap lads, by the way. Shout out to them, Andy and Deck. Yeah. They put Affordale Fury up at a bigger price, and I couldn't have had him. And I don't know if I can have him for a Gold Cup, to be honest. But
talk about Sam Ewan as well. I mean, what a Christmas period he had. I mean, he had a spare ride on. Was it a couple that he had a spare ride for that I saw?
Spare, didn't he?
Yeah.
I suppose the angle with Affordale Fury was that he's massively race fit horse. He's had the 3 runs coming into it, and the last one was a winning one at Turler's, being quite impressive. So, obviously it was a big price. He was much shorter when he went off. So I suppose there was the angle with you knew that Galopin Des Champs was probably going to need it, and Fast or Slow had to come back from, the John Durham, I fancy Fast or Slow for the race kind of thing. So I thought he was a bit disappointing. If you see me looking to the side, by the way, my dog's next to me, so I'm trying to keep him entertained. The Gold Cup picture, I think it's fascinating stuff. Like you, I'm happy to sort of knock off another way of thinking. I don't really understand what they're doing with the horse. Training him for one day, fine, but they were doing that last year. And he was improving through the season. This horse is progressing through the season, so I'm not that keen on him. Do you know, the 2 horses for me are actually Django Bay and the Jukebox Man. I thought Django was a bit. I don't like to use the term. I thought he was a bit unlucky. He missed. I think it was the second last or the third last. Which one that he Nico didn't see a stride from. You can see it in his eyes. Basically, he didn't see a stride from a mile out. Got right in tight to the fence. Lost lengths. Winged the last. Came down the outside. He was always 2 or 3 wide as well going. And I just never thought he was in A1 position. I thought he was in pretty a D or E position, to be honest, through the race.
But just on the contrary to that, I think that is just the horse himself. I don't think he is that speedy horse to get himself into, that A1 position. Maybe that is just him, where he's going to come home strong, and that probably actually the extra 2.5 furlongs at Cheltenham is going to be right up his street. We saw it in the Arco last year. If he can get a motor on coming down the hill, I can't imagine many people are going to be firing better and coming up the hill stronger than him, to be fair. So
is to put him in the right air when you think, I think John Bond's going to go up and trip is what Nicky said. It's just interesting that they put him in, but we wrote off Factor Fail all 3 away, and together this is how it shows how epic it was. I was on Gaelic, you like Django, Ash and Harry, well done. Look, you picked the Jukebox Man out, and you were sweet on him, but we're being beaten less than a length between the 3 away. Madness, isn't it? When he jumped, the 4 of them jumped together there, the last. It was some roar every because all your tickets are still valid, them 4, and we've all been beaten less than a length in a Group 1 King George's Grade 1.
Usually when you get
just to say on that, we were watching it in the living room, and my brother he was on Django Bay, my dad was on Gaelic Warrior, I'm on the Jukebox Man. Everyone's shouting. We're watching different horses.
Do you think you are cooked or not, Harry?
Oh, the last night I did, but then it's that angle where it's kind of battling back, and you're thinking, oh God, just keep going. And then I generally thought Gaelic Warrior had won it on the far side.
I thought, oh, my, and even looking at the pictures now, I think how have I lost?
But it's just the angle. Had a bit of Frankie. Was it Marsha?
Yes. And Frankie thought he had one on the far side.
Yeah. I was thinking, for fuck's sake, Ben Jones, what have you done? I was like, what have you done here?
He thought he had one by at least a head, he says, and it was a nose, wasn't it?
Just back to Django, but I kind of see that angle, Harry. But I should remember back to Chasing Debut, where he got the run of things, and he never made a mistake. He winged all of his fences. He was really pretty decent at his jumping. And in the Arkle, everything went too quick for him. His jumping went to pot a little bit, and then he stayed on. Ascot, he was a little bit early off the bridle, but it wasn't really a strenuous race. He never really seemed in too much danger, and then he won. And then the King George, I did think he was a little bit under the pump slightly, but I thought he dealt with that well. And maybe, the extra sort of just slowing down of the race, the extra couple of furlongs of the Gold Cup could suit him. So I thought he would have to go on the list. And then the Jukebox Man, I completely agree with you. I've been saying this for a couple of months now. There's limited negatives with the horse. He jumps, he travels, he stays, he's got speed. It's how many times do you want to keep saying this horse isn't good enough to win when he's actually sort of got all the attributes that suggest he's all right? So I thought
and he's so lightly raced as well.
I thought he'd have a fine chance in the King in a Gold Cup, to be honest. And I saw they're probably going to go straight there. I don't have an issue with that at all, really. He seems quite a laid back horse, not one you need to get to. You don't have to get stuck into him in a race or anything like that. So, those are the 2 for me. It's wide open, but I think Galopin might just... I love him. And, if he came back and won a Gold Cup, blimey. I'm going to the DRF. If he wins the Irish Gold Cup, holy moly, that'd be great. But I don't know, 10... He just looked a little bit... I think he should have won the Savills, and he didn't. Like I think he travelled all the way into it like the winner. He came round the bend, he jumped the last. You think, okay, here we go, he's going to go and win, and he didn't. I'm just like, not too sure. So like,
much rather have seen that though than what we saw with I Know the Way You're Thinking. If you'd been out the back of the TV,
that was never going to happen with Galopin. That was never going to happen. Like he's a
horse. Anyway, how it was going to pan out.
They didn't half come for him though. I mean, what did he go off in the end? Like 5-4, something like that.
That's another thing as well. Like I know Willie would have expected a little bit of improvement kind of thing, but the market said that he was a winner kind of thing, you know. So like, it's just a thing that I don't know. He's the wrong age and everything like that. So maybe I might.
He's not. I think that I can't remember the stats, but like, I don't think 10 is overly bad for a Gold Cup myself personally. I just think as well, all of Willie's first time out have needed the run. That's how I've been seeing it. Like, and people are like, oh, well, he's out of form and going in form. He had plenty of winners. I think it was 12 or 13, whatever, in the end over Christmas. Maybe it's 12. And a couple of grade ones. You know, he won the Faheen and stuff like that. But I just think the first time out ones have been needing it. And look, he's only starting now, Willie, anyways, and building up to the season, really.
Just objectively, the last 10-year-old winner was Cool Dawn in 1998. So, like,
was it? Okay, fair.
So, like stats wise, he'd have to buck a 28-year track. So, like,
I don't, you know, like stuff like that. I actually don't care about it.
That's fine. You know,
I think 10-year-old look, he's just turned 10. But I don't mind it. Them type of stats if you've got the right horse for it. But yeah, look, you know, stats are there to be broken.
Anyway, Gold Cup scene, I think, fairly covered there. We're just going to touch on the Champion Hurdle stuff because, you know, so Gino obviously won the Christmas Hurdle, first start back since last year's Wayward Lad. Was it Wayward Lad? It was a Wayward Lad. Lossiemouth won over in Ireland. Bryce Days Ahead was a bit of an eye catcher. I want this quite quick, gents. Lee, right now, who wins the Champion Hurdle?
Sir Gino. Look, it's an obvious answer. I was a bit muddled there with the Gold Cup, but I've watched that Christmas Hurdle back, Ash. It wasn't a fair time. He beat Golden Ace, who, look, won a fighting fifth regardless of what happened, as a Champion Hurdle winner regardless of what happened. But, yeah, look, I think if you watch it back at the line, Nico's got plenty in the tank. And for me, I think he'll win it. Lossiemouth drifted out on the exchanges, lads. I think 6s for the Champion Hurdle as we record. So, look, maybe she's mares bound. Who knows? She put up a fair performance, but she had the run against the Brighter Days Ahead. I thought she got the run. I thought Amsterdam set it up for her, and I thought she had the run prior in that Morgiana. So yeah, look, she was entitled to win that race, and should just beat Brighter Days Ahead. And yeah, look, she might be mares hurdle bound and go for the treble or whatever it is. So yeah, Sergino, I'm really sweet on Sergino. I think he's still a fair price. The problem is, Ash, is he might go straight there. He can go to Trails Day against the New Lion.
Yeah.
But he might go straight there. And there's always that bounce factor in it. You know, the people talk about this bounce factor, but yeah, look, I just think he's very talented. I'm happy to weigh in Sergino win.
I would be shocked if Lossiemouth runs in the Champion Hurdle. I'll be absolutely. I genuinely think there's like 15% chance she runs the Champion Hurdle. I think there's I think she goes mares.
Campaigner, Morgiana, and that December hurdle. Why campaigner like that if you know you're going to go up anyway? Like, I mean, there's not much, I suppose.
They're not the same last year.
Sorry.
They not do the same last year. Oh no, they went Hatton's Grace and
no, they went Christmas Hurdle. The member behind Constitution Hill.
They campaigned her like a Champion Hurdle horse last year, and a really strong Champion Hurdle horse. Like they campaigned her. Okay, Hatton's Grace, fine, whatever. That was a fine starting point. They went to Kempton and ran in the Christmas, and then went to the Irish Champion Hurdle. This year they've only gone to Morgiana because Amsterdam went to Kempton, and I think they just weren't really fancy Amsterdam for the race, and they've gone to the December Hurdle because they didn't want to go to Kempton. It made sense. Like, this may as well stay in Ireland and win it. Like, I actually think they campaigned as a stronger Champion Hurdle contender last year than this year. I think this year they just know they're going to the mares. Like, you watch that Paul Town interview, I don't know what maybe I'm reading compared to other people. I think there's
But what's he going to ride in the hurdle? And he's a loose cannon, isn't he?
But like, it's the case of, okay, do they go to the champion hurdle and get beaten and have nothing for the mares, or do they go to the champion hurdle, get beat with Amsterdam, and then go and win the mares? I think that's what their thought process is. It's what Ruby Walsh was saying on Rose Cheltenham the other week, and it makes sense from their point of view.
How do you play then? Because look, you could have Woodoo, who's a fair mare, and she'd run through a brick wall for you, by the way. But then you've got bright ideas ahead as well. Like, her chase campaign is sidelined now, so Gordon's 2 in that mare's hurdle is likely. I mean, is Gordon going to go back? He's been scored a few times, like Apples Jade and such like in that champion hurdle. He's never really, I think Mixed Jazz or something was 3rd one year. These are all off the top of my head, by the way. But you know, he's been scored a little bit in the champion hurdle. He's won the mare's hurdle before. You know,
I think they might go champion with Brides. I think they were. I actually think it would make more sense to go to the mares with Brides days ahead. I think they'll go to the champion though. I just think I think
and split Woodoo maybe.
Yeah, that's it. That's kind of it. And I think, like, you know, Brides days has got a pedigree for the mares. Like, they should go up and trip that horse. They should be over fences. They should be over fence with the horse. They should have been over fences last season, but they're not. I think they'll just go back to champion because it makes sense. They've got Woodoo for the mares. I know it's different owners, but I think, you know, like, Woodoo's going to go to the mares anyway. So the mares will just say to Eddie O'Leary and Michael O'Leary, look, we're going to go to champion again. That wasn't her best running champion last year. Let's have another go. Champion is very open. I'd be absolutely shocked if Lossiemouth goes to the champion. I think there's absolute, like, you just listen to anything, you read anything. I think they're going to the mares, and fine. I don't care. I don't like. Maybe I'm in the minority. I don't care. Like, go to the mares if you want. Fine, whatever. Like, I'm just so bored of the whole chat about it. Like, just if you're going to go to the mares, fine. Be a 3-time mares hurdle winner, and you've had a great career. Like, there's no denying that you've had a fantastic career at Lossiemouth. But, like, you know, they should go to the champion. They're not. Fine, whatever. Go to the mares. But for my 10 pence, I think that Brides days ahead 16-1 is a huge price in the champion hurdle. And I know there's the Yang that you're probably getting 4 points too much or 6 points too much because there's the chance that you could go to the mares. But I'll take that gamble. I think she's got a great chance. And I know Cheltenham record isn't the best, but they tried to ride her to win with speed in the mare's novice, and that was the wrong way to do it. And the champion hurdle, she travels down the hill like the winner, and she just blows up. So, like, I don't know what happened there at all. Maybe she doesn't like Cheltenham, but I'd happily give her another chance around the track at 16s in the champion hurdle. That'd be my way of playing the race. Harry, anything champion hurdle wise you want to talk about?
I think Sergino will give £7 and more to Lossiemouth and still pick her up and beat her coming away at the line. I think he is just so good. And I think what Nico said after, he was just so happy to be on the track. You could almost see that, how keen he was. And then, as soon as he got to the front, he was just pinging. I think he missed one or something like that. But other than that, he was absolutely electric. And I can't see any way that any horse in training beats him in the champion hurdle. I just can't. I think he's the most talented horse in training by a good way as well. And I think if people are saying about Lossiemouth, it'd be tough to give £7. He'll give £17 and still beat her. That is just my way of thinking about it. I cannot see whether it's because, I've backed him or something. It probably does have something to do with that. But for those that were listening into the YouTube video and on the Saturday live before, I did mention you could back him for the Christmas hurdle and the festival at 5-1 to win today and to win that. And I think, you're looking at that now, and I think he's 6-4 in places. Yeah, I still think 6-4 is a pretty big price. I really, really do. In terms of Woodoo, I thought Woodoo was probably up there with one of the performances of the whole Christmas period. She will run through a brick wall. She had to dig deep to beat the field, a pretty decent field as well, and she's more than worthy of her state at the top of the mare's hurdle market.
I would just quickly. I know we're going to wrap up and move on, but I would dismiss in the new Lion then against
no.
Yeah, absolutely. I am. I don't care.
Why? Why?
Do you seriously think, regardless of anything that you've seen, do you think coming off the back of a nasty fall, The New Lion, what we saw, I've always said this horse should go up in trip, not come down in it. And the fact is, you're going to come up against a top class 2 miler in Cigino. There is nothing that the New Lion has shown in his whole career that will say he will beat Cigino.
But is Cigino, the only worry I have is like, is he going to be a little bit fragile? You know, would the New Lion, because he'd bully him and he put it up to him. And then you've got the mare, you know, Bright Ideas ahead. If Chico is there, they've got that stamina to say like, look, you know, we'll just kind of like worry him out of it almost. Look, I'm really on Cigino.
It'll be 5 in front before they even.
I'm playing devil's advocate and putting it up.
Yeah,
I don't think to dismiss the New Lion as much as plenty have ruled him out. I still think he would have went on and won that fight in 50.
Well, are they not meeting in the trials day?
International thing, yeah, but I think Nicky will dodge the people.
I don't think it was.
I think he says there or straight at Cheltenham, and I think look, he can get horses fit at home. I think he'll dodge it. I don't think he'll want to go up again. Look, if he thinks if they go against each other, he's fucking like sorry to say, he really fancies Cigino because he'll say, you know what, I know what I've got. Come and get us.
Yeah, exactly.
I on the other side of things, Harry, I don't think there's anything that the New Lion's done that says right off for the champion hurdle. What's the horse done? Had a flawless novice campaign and fallen in the fighting fifth. Whoa, geez, what a shite horse! Like you know,
what else? He still won, Ash?
Yeah, I think he would have won. I do. He's got plenty of toe. We were in fair agreement.
Would he have won by what, 5? Are you saying he'd have won quite convincingly at the line?
He'd have been pushed out. He'd have had to work.
Golden Ace, who Cigino has literally picked up and carried on his seasonal reappearance.
Yes,
he absolutely demolished her. And there's only
horses like Hardy Eustace, Faheen won a Neptune or whatever it was, Ballymore, whatever it's called now. What's it called now, Turner? Sorry. You know, so Hardy Eustace, Faheen, there was did Estebrack win that one off the top of my head again? But you know, them horses can come back in trip and have that, like Ash was going to say, look, you got a bit toe, you got a bit stamina, and you need that. Look, Cheltenham is that blend, the unique blend to come up that hill. I just think people are dismissing them too much. I'm on Cigino, but I think don't dismiss him at your peril, I would have said.
Like, yeah, right. You said we are going to move on from this. I think this is interesting though. But you say Cigino's picked him up and picked up Golden Ace and demolished her on seasonal reappearance. Fine, I get that. Right, he was pushed out. Okay, let's call a spade here. Cigino was pushed out.
He should have gone round again.
He was pushed out, and Golden Ace was genuinely maintaining the distance after the last hurdle. I don't know.
Ash,
am I woke up in a parallel universe?
No, Ash, you have to watch the lane again. I do think Gino's got plenty more in the tank. Nico's always looks
he's gone with his cock in his hand, and he could have gone round again.
I'm not trying to say he hasn't got more under the tank at all. I'm not trying to deny that. But like, so Gino wins 6 lengths, pushed out with Reward a couple of lengths behind, right? Okay. You go to the fighting fifth, and the New Lion is jumping 2 out, 3 out, like being pushed out, 2 out.
He fell at 2 out, didn't he?
Yeah, but he's in the fighting fifth. He's arriving towards second last with Dan Skelton doing very much what Nico de Boinville was doing, bobbing up and down, pushing on the neck, just giving a little bit of an encouragement. And Golden Ace is there. Who's to say the New Line wouldn't have won by 6 lengths, pushed out, beating Golden Ace? It would have been exactly the same as what Cigino's done.
But he's coming off of the back of a nasty fall. He nearly ran out at the hurdle. Now I get that he was in front.
Fuck nasty! It was a fall. It was a fine fall, and he's apparently been fine since. Like, you know,
fake. I thought it was fake. Look, it's a horse, and he's fell. I think.
Anyway,
we'll see.
It's not even a horse I fancy for the champion, but I just don't think you can write off. I just don't think you can write off the horse.
We've just spent 10 minutes.
Yeah, anyway. No, but you've asked me. You said, "Oh, what do I think? Have I dismissed the New Lion?" Yes, because I cannot see any horse in training that beats
We'll
Cigino.
clip that back, Ash. We'll clip that
so,
back.
Look, it's what price is the New Lion now?
5s.
Yeah, but is it right? Right. Last question. We're moving on. Last question. But so is he in each way play Ash could, like, he'd be the each way play to nothing against, so Gino, who might not come back to have problems. You're taking fives, you're getting your money back, even if he's placed against the brighter days ahead, lost him out, whatever it is. Is he the each way play in the race or not?
I say it's assuming that bookmakers are doing free places anti-post. I think they are.
Yes.
But I think he is, isn't he? Because so Gino, Lossiemouth, New Line, Bryce Days Ahead, that's 4. Golden Ace 5. Constitutional, is he going to go? I'm going to say no. Cabrera Matan, no. Majbra, no. El Fabiolo, probably yes, 6. Ballyburn, even if he does run, I don't really think he'd be hitting the frame. Ansdan probably is going to run 7. William Mully's not there. Cargis is going to have fences. Like you maximum, you're getting 7 runners. And do I think the New Line will be ahead of Golden Ace? Yes. Do I think he'll be ahead of El Fabiolo? Yes. Do I think he'll be ahead of Ballyburn? Yes. Is Lossiemouth going to go to the race? I don't know. So that already immediately basically puts him in the free. And sure, I just don't you probably, unless he beats Gino, he's going to be short. I don't think he'll be much shorter than 5-1 though.
He will never beat Gino ever in his life.
Well, how we'll end it. Paul Townend's mount. Paul Townend's mount in the Champion Hill is going to be
Amsterdam.
Ballyburn.
No.
Not a chance. And if that horse wins, the game's gone.
He's going to ride Ballyburn.
The clips there. Game's gone. Sean Dodge. Game's gone.
Sources, I've been told.
Anyway, well, I think we covered Champion Hill and the Gold Cup there. Gents, I want your favourite performance from Christmas periods and just what the horse was, what the race was, and the line, Harry.
I'm going to go Woodoo. Actually, I thought the fact that she battled back, well, she didn't really battle back, but I think she had like tape running down behind it or something, like a bandage had come off. So it was kind of off-putting. If you watch it back, you can see the bandage kind of like following around, probably from 3 out, it was quite off-putting. And surely she must have felt something like that when she's going forward. But I just thought that she was so brave. She jumped the last in front. She had to give weight away. I just really, really like her as a horse. She's unbeaten over hurdles. What more can she do? She just seems to, every hurdle that she kind of faces in terms of opposition, she just seems to rise to it. And who knows what her ceiling is. So in terms of favourite performance, that was mine.
You'd love to have 10 of her, wouldn't you, Harry?
Oh God! Imagine like a stable full of them. Like she's just every time she turns up, I see she hasn't been beaten over hurdles. She obviously got beat by Lossiemouth in Aintree, but she didn't half give her a fright that day. She ran her all the way to the line, and I just think she's a really, really hardy mare and really likable performance over Christmas, mate.
Fair enough, Lee.
Is this my favourite performance, Ash? Sorry. Yeah, my favourite performance, and I didn't back him, Kit's Bull, Bussel, whatever it is. But yeah, look, I was there at Kempton, obviously, a crowd, like every time he jumped, it was like, it was like every jump was, everyone was feeling it together, because even if you didn't back him, it was exuberant. It was, just such a great display of jumping. He has a slight, turn in action, I suppose, when he was jumping a few of them. But, it was just taking off and just, I really enjoyed it. I didn't back him. It was probably my least bet of when I was down at Kempton, to be honest, that race. I got Drew into Wendigo but I shouldn't have, I kind of knew, I don't know. Look, hindsight's a great thing. But anyways, he stayed on fine. I just don't think he likes Kempton Wendigo. I don't think that track played to his strength personally. But yeah, Kit's Buthel, I just thought
he's got entry written all over him, hasn't he, Lee?
Yeah. I don't personally. People have been on about the Brown Advisory. Look, he's a good jump. I don't know. I'd be skeptical for that race, but I just think that was a great.
It was just one. It was just one. Just to echo your points about what the crowd was saying. If you'd backed him, you almost wanted to see the jumps coming, didn't you? Like, because you knew that he met everything on perfect stride. Everything.
But yeah, you wanted
and even the jump of the last. I mean, he was well out of the wings.
Aintree, he wouldn't have suited Aintree, would he, with all them things dulled off? But yeah, no, it was a great performance. And, you know, sometimes you have to just say, like, great, like, what I didn't back him, I backed something else. But I thought that was a great performance. And the crowd certainly did a Kempton anyway.
Let me ask who Finn thinks was the best performance of Christmas. What do you think, Finn? Was it? Oh, okay. Fair enough. Finn says best performance of Christmas was Lazada Star at Leopardstown in the 2.5 mile maiden hurdle on the 28th. That was probably one of my favourite performances. I thought it was good. I don't know what they do with the horse, because they obviously got Skylight Hustle, which I think they might step up and trip with the horse.
Yeah.
So then, like, do they both run in the Turners? I don't know. Maybe Lazada Star goes to the Bartlett. I don't know. But I thought he was good. I liked him. Just liked how he jumped and travelled and went away from the field. It was quite a nice race, and I thought he was good. If I'm going to cheat, but it's the one that's slightly off the radar. Solly's Gold was quite good in the Cheltenham Bumper, the listed race.
Yes.
I quite liked him. I liked how he travelled, and James Jones Owen hasn't had. I'm gonna go on a limb and say he hasn't had a champion bumper runner before. Could have had one in the last couple of seasons. I don't know, but I can't really remember him having one. I don't know if this horse will go to the champion bumper, but got a lovely, like, National Hunt based pedigree. Wouldn't be surprised if they go to champion bumper. But anyway, like, next season after, I think he's gonna be a really, really nice horse. So Solly's Gold I thought was quite good, but the Zada Star was also quite good in that 2.5 mile maiden hurdle. Biggest disappointment, gentlemen. Who really let the side down? Harry.
Well, I know me and you are the same, mate. So I'll kind of kick things off. I thought everything was there for My Daddy Paddy, even without the hurdles being missed out. There's no reason why he shouldn't have picked up Idaho's Son. He travelled like the winner. You know, he was conserving their energy at the back. He travelled through them sweetly enough, and even probably just before they hit the elbow, he looked like the winner, and then he just kind of blew up. I think there's horses in there now in that Supreme division where, the likes of Alcaraz, even if they're coming off the back of a fall, I'd much rather be wagering at 5-1 than be backing My Daddy Paddy at 12s.
That's fair enough. Yeah, I kind of agree. But maybe I think there's probably not enough credit going to Idaho's Son. Maybe, like, some people have been giving the credit to the horse, so fair play to them. But I thought he was good, and, like, there's a lot to like about the horse. I mean, he's 11-length maiden novice hurdle winner at Bangor. He's a 3.5-length Fontwell maiden hurdle winner. 6th in the champion bumper. He battered a horse at Windsor in a bumper. Like, maybe this Idaho's Son is just very good. But yeah, I didn't like how My Daddy Paddy was. He almost looked slow, which I don't think there's one thing you could have described him as is slow. I thought he was just a touch on the slower side here at Aintree, and I know, like, Dan Skelter's been talking about how he thought this was a Turner's horse at the start of the season, but there's nothing to say he can't go to the Supreme, and the owner really wants to go to Supreme, so we'll go to the Supreme. It's almost like that element of ambiguity about the horse and that slight bit of confusion that's maybe thinking, I don't know, maybe My Daddy Paddy's gone to the slight naughty step after what he did at Aintree.
There was that injection of pace, Ash, wasn't there, at Haydock, between the second last and the last?
Yeah.
Well, that just, you were thinking at Aintree, where when Harry says go here, he's just going to quicken on clear.
Yeah.
It just seemed like whoosh. It just seemed like the petrol gauge went from absolutely full, and then it's flashing red at you, and you're stopping down the M5, and you're trundling to a stop. That's how it kind of felt.
Yeah, I was slightly disappointed by the horse. Maybe I'm being harsh because only the one bad run, but I didn't really. Yeah, I wouldn't be rushing to back him at a bigger price for the Supremes, put it that way. Lee, what about you? Anything that was disappointing?
Look, My Daddy Paddy was fair enough disappointing because he was an odds-on favourite, but Idaho's Son, the race panned out for him to admit them. Look, at 6th in the champion bumper, maybe I think being a bit too harsh because you just expect that favourite to win. But Margeborough, look, I think is becoming disappointing. I didn't have a bet in the race because I was at Kempton, but yeah, look, Solness won the race last year, if I'm right. Was right on it. Joseph had Bambridge run well. Then you got Marine National, who nearly come out the side door. People are saying, look, that race, the IQ or whatever told Barry Connell that Marine National lost 15 lengths. To Maya, he didn't lose 15 lengths. But did it cost them a race? That is a definite, I would have said, yes, he did cost them a race. Is he still the one to beat in the champion chase? I would have said definitely so as well. I thought that was a fair return for him. I thought he would have needed the run. He nearly come out the side door, and he's still battled on well to um, to push Solness very close. He'll come on for that, and yeah, that performance was kind of devastating, really, in that champion chase last season. So he's definitely want to be Marshall. Then look, he jumped fair. I had him down as a fridge jumper, like a bag of hammers or whatever Jerry Hannon says, but he jumped fair on the whole. He just doesn't get away quick enough, and I thought that's the best jumping I've seen from him from a while. But then he still couldn't get the job done. He still didn't go through with it, and whether he wants to step up and trip, and whether he jumps clean enough and quick enough, and there's too many elements. I just think he's become disappointing. Look, he's come third and only beaten a few lengths there in a Grade 1. I don't know. I couldn't trust him, and he's probably the disappointing one for me because I expected more this season.
Fair enough. I was on mute there. Yeah, that's fair comment. So just a couple of horses that we were slightly disappointed by over Christmas, and then gentlemen, to wrap up Christmas in a nice little bow. Biggest Eyecatchers. We're going to go for sort of one each, and as much as we probably have more Eyecatchers, we're just going to go for sort of maybe our biggest one. Lee, I'll throw it back over to you. Any Eyecatcher? Well, I'm
going with one, and I'm going to mention one tiny bit, right? Yeah. My one to take out, and I'm going to say it now before people jump on going, he won't beat Lilamba and he won't beat Quebec de Boer. I back Quebec de Boer at a big price. I managed to have a little save on Lilamba. Them are definitely the ones to beat in an Arkle. But if you're looking for an each-way one, and you mentioned before, Ash, about races cutting up, the champion hurdle might cut up. It might be 6-7 places in for certain races. You can get 3 places for an Arkle. An Irish Panther was 25. I think nibbled into 20s as we speak there. I think the race will cut up. There's plenty that are dead wood and could go elsewhere as well. The top few might not even make it. Quebec's recovering from a bone chip that got removed. He's fine. He's going to go at the DRF, and all things well, he'll go on the Arkle. But Irish Panther, that race at Christmas, he was just beat by Romeo Coolio. They pulled well clear. That was over 2 mile 1. The Arkle at Cheltenham is just shy of 2 mile. It's 1 mile 7 and change, like just shy of 2 mile. If you stopped it at the 2 mile point, he would have won that race. And Irish Panther, look, they were really on. I did say about Romeo Coolio winning online, and Harty Racing actually messaged back saying, we've got other plans. So they were really expecting a good run, and he put up a good display. Prior to that, he had won well, So, yeah, it's just interesting, in that angle, Ash, about getting them extra places and getting a big price. You can get 20s each way. So Irish Panther will be the each way play. I hope Kopech comes back. I do fancy him, more so if I have to sway against the top 2, but I think they are the one to beat. But if you're looking for an each way angle with the 3 places, he'd be the one. Irish Panther, I think, is overpriced, and he was my eye catcher. I think ran a huge race, to be honest, and nearly turned over Romeo Coolio, and he only just got going at the lane and stopped that race. Like I said, 2 mile 1, whereas the Arkle at Cheltenham is actually shy of 2 mile.
Yeah, I thought he was good, and I haven't mentioned it yet. I thought Romeo Coolio was good just in a view to stepping up in trip. He looks to me like Gordon Elliott's King George horse. He hasn't had one for a while, or for a number of years now. He struck me as a King George horse for next season. Harry, your Eyecatcher as I release that.
Well, I'm going to kind of go away against the Eyecatchers. Maybe one that he actually did win, and I know, Lee, you were there, and I put him up as my nap and best each way on the Saturday morning live when you were down at Kempton, and it was Willie the Builder. I thought everything was there and was right for him at Kempton. I thought Toby McKay-Mitchell gave the horse an absolute peach of a ride. I know that he's entered actually at Kempton on the 10th, which is Saturday. He's entered in the handicap hurdle there. He's off 132 that he's been given. Jack Tudor's already booked up to go. So it'd be interesting to see how he gets on. I think actually looking at the race itself, I can't see too many in there. King William Rufus is in there. Celtic Art. for Jeremy Scott's in there, 9-year-old now. But I think Willie the Builder, now they've found that he's had a couple of probably 4 or 5 runs where he's been building on, building, and it finally all came together. And I really fancy him to win on Saturday. So that kind of wraps my eye catcher and my bet for the weekend.
He was given a peach, by the way, by Toby.
He was, but it was interesting to see how he was ridden. Just all fell in for him, didn't it?
I was there with obviously. I was a guest of Christian Williams, so I had a great day there. But he only had the one run, and I did say, "Look, is this going to win?" And he said he was in form, but he was not. Like so sweet on him. I took a chance and managed to get my dollar back, luckily for the weekend on him. But he asked them for, like, they were talking about the riding instructions beforehand. So I was obviously like there, Wigan, and he says he's gonna just sit like second or third and handy and mid pack and and play it that way. Anyways, dropping out stone last. I says, didn't he say he was what's he doing? Like, and Christian says he said he was going to sit second or third. So, but he must have just, things must have played out well for him. I don't know. I think he's going to be top weight. Is he, Harry, on? And obviously he doesn't get the claim off as well.
No, yeah, he would have to carry 12-2 as it stands. So he would be carrying top weight. Rare additions in there: Ubetti, Ben Clark.
He used to be Harry Skelton's, Dan Skelton's, didn't he? Willie the Builder as well.
Yeah, he did. That Quaviste who finished second at Market Raisins in there. But I'm looking at it thinking, now they've got this horse is a talented horse. He is a very good horse, and now they look like they've found the trick with him. Fingers crossed he can notch another win for his name.
You're selling the Christian Williams camp. Yeah, Deep Cave as well. Remember?
Yeah, no, Deep Cave. They've done me well. I did message Christian saying well done with them, and he said thanks and everything.
I told him you napped him. He says, "Did he get in?"
Good stuff.
My eye catcher, it's going to be one that ran on the 30th of December at Haydock. Not a fancy one, mine.
Rudy.
There's this horse called Lucy the Wire that ran for James Owen. Maybe I'm making a James Owen fan club here, but she ran a nice race. She was second to Diamond Jill in a sort of a junior national hunt race. Diamond Jill was a nice horse for Oliver Guerrero Oliver Greenall and Josh Guerrero. Ran a nice race. Like, I just thought that if you take out the winner, Diamond Jim, Lucy the Wire probably goes and bolts up by 5 and looks like a really, really nice horse. But just like the fact she got beaten by a fair horse, I think, in Diamond Jim. She's now got she's remains on a handicap mark of 104, which I thought that if James Owen decides to start going handicapping with Lucy the Wire, I thought she'd be an absolute shoo-in, and she's probably going to be improving probably 15-20 pounds. Wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. She looked really, really good. She's really unexposed. Well, she won a Leicester main hurdle, and she came from the flat for Dennis Hogan at Cork over hurdles. Ran an academy hurdle to Quinto de Lego behind that horse, and then come over to James Owen. So I thought there's plenty of improvement to come from Lucy the Wire. He's now a 4-year-old, and I thought they could definitely go handicapping with Lucy the Wire and be quite competitive. So I've been my eye catcher for Christmas.
I just got one to give an honourable mention to. At the start of the season, we put up horses to follow, not for Cheltenham, but to follow through the season. And a few have already won. So you can go watch them back. But Carrickmona Spruce is one that I put up in the May. She ran against the boys there the other day in a Grade 1.
Second.
She was second. She ended up second. She would have been third because Talk the Talk come down at the last, and Skylight Hustle won the race, but she stayed on really well for second. She had actually beat Stortudo in a bumper last season. She ran third behind Bambino Fever, who went on to win the champion bumper, and she had really strong form last season. She won the Grade 3 Punchestown bumper at the festival there, and yeah, she started off by winning easily. She was second in a Grade 3 at Down Royal. She just didn't look right. She stayed on well there. She's still around 16, so the mare's novice. I wouldn't put off because she's ran a Grade 1 second against the boys there. Yeah, I just thought that was a fair performance. Another one to note, but just relating back there, we've had plenty of winners already off this season opener video that we had for horses to follow anyway.
Yeah, no, good shout there. Gentlemen, just just very quickly for the weekend, and I want to very conscious to keep this video under an hour, so we got 4 minutes to play with. Anything for this weekend? I'll just mention very quickly the 240 Silvignac Conti. I know it's disappointing at Exeter, but I probably fancy Calif de Burley to go and win that. Lanzarote, Lanesborough's the fav, probably fancy him. I think he's just a massive improver. But also, if they run, don't know if they're running, but Fasol was good at Musselburgh, and if they run Fasol with Olive Nichols again claiming off 5, I'd probably give him a chance as well in Lanzarote. Lee, anything for this weekend?
In that Lanzarote Country Park for the O'Neills, was going to win in Ascot handicap last season before tipping up, and some eye-catching runs should have won it. I think it was Market Racing, but got collared, on the run in. Handicap to go well is doubly entered though is the problem on the same day. So just take note. But round 20s now, Eyecatcher. Friendship is one of the market leaders against Lanesborough, is it, Ash? Yes, I would take Lanesborough over Friendship. Friendship's been a good servant of mine over this season so far, but the Hobbs White form is just so off-putting for me. I'd just rather watch him, and I think Lanesborough's got a good chance. Country Park is one to note. I do think Master Chewy's got a chance in that 4-runner race. We're probably all against each other, and in the other one will win. But I think Master Chewy stays the trip. It's got a few pound to give penalty there, but I just Edward Stone's 12 ran a good race behind Jello, the Peter Bar. But look, Boom Bone. Where's he at? I don't know. Calif de Burley disappointing, although against this Alaska is obviously bolted up since. But I'm willing to take the rank outside of the 4, and Master Chewy, I wouldn't put you off.
Fair enough. Harry, anything for you?
Couple. I mentioned Willie the Builder. If he rocks up at Kempton, and then over at Warwick, I think Doyen Quest is a good bet in the Hampton Novices Chase. Wade Out's currently top of the market, 11-4, but he's looking at the weather forecast. I think he might struggle, especially if he jumped just as bad as he did at Cheltenham. I just think Warwick could get away from him. Same with Moon Rocket. He was turned over at 3s on at Doncaster. Then next in is Doyen Quest at 4-1. I think if he can go hell for leather on the front end, he could just nick this. And at 4s I think is a pretty big price. And then in the big $500,000, the handicap chase there, one of the Grand National Trials, I'm going to go with a couple of years ago winner, My Silver Lining, who won this. She ran really well at Haydock last time out, behind. Oh God, what's the name? Was it Grand Jest? The Sue Smith.
Yeah.
The Sue Smith horse who made all. There were 2 greys that finished 1-2. She was the second, but she jumped really well. If the ground, that's another one that if the ground kind of goes bad, I'd fancy her because she'll be up with the bunny, jumps well, and she'd give you an each way play.
Very good. Thank you very much, gentlemen. That's a nice review of Christmas and a couple of fancies for this weekend as well to keep an eye on. Tune in at 10:30 a.m. on the Saturday Live on Twitter at OFLH Racing for our full fancies on Saturday for Warwick and Kempton. If you haven't played any fancies, please do it responsibly and comment down below your best performance and biggest eye catcher from Christmas, and we'll
get them mentioned on the Twitter on the
Twitter.
Saturday Live.
We'll give them a nudge. Thank you very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe if you haven't already. Until the next video, we'll see you very, very soon.